That's it.
Yes, yes. But I want to, so my, want to come to this different, so as a positive parent, being a conscious parent, I know you live in a joint setup, a joint family. How does it work for you? Like, because you have so many people above you who have their own ideologies about being this parent. हमने तो मारा था, हमने तो डांटा था. I don't know. I just want to know about that. What does it
I'm
be?
so glad that you raised this question because I
Yeah.
hardly get to talk on this, to be honest. But I have my take on this, and I really want to bring this up because a lot of times in my sessions, after my session, people come back and say that because you are in a joint family, you can say this, but we are in a nuclear family, so how does that work? Or maybe they come up and say that in our joint family this doesn't work, and I said I come from a joint family. So here I know that you will come from a nuclear family, so we have
Yes.
both takes here. My ideology here is that we live in a day and age where we scientifically, technically, emotionally, physically know when and why we want to become a parent, whether we want
Right.
to get a child or not, and if yes, when. So, in that situation, I think we all should be very conscious to draw a line about the duties as a parent.
Right.
What happens is, when you're in a joint family and sometimes you have expectation that your in-laws or your own parents will be co-parenting your child. I think that's when the problem happens. If you don't have that expectation, there are no issues. I mean, it's flawless because you want them to be grandparents, which is the
Right.
word itself is grand, and that gives a lot of respect. And we have to understand that different generations have different
Different. Yeah,
ideologies
yeah.
of raising
True,
children,
true,
so the
true,
ideologies can be different. But
true.
why you want to bring them on your page? I don't understand that.
So,
It's my child. I'm going to
right.
raise my child. I'm going to do the cleaning and scrubbing and the stuff that needs to be done. I go and pick her up. I make her do the homework. It's my job. Or
Right. You're
right
not.
now, when I'm sitting here, it's my husband who's taking care of my child. So yes, it's a co-parenting with my husband, not with my in-laws or my
I
parents. Uh,
I love that. Yeah,
when
yeah,
I don't have that expectation, what are my expectations is that
yeah,
I want them to give selfless love to my child, which they give. I mean, nobody else in the world can
truly.
do that, right?
Yeah,
They are there to give me security that if my child is unwell in the middle of night, I know I have my elders in the house where I can
yeah.
knock and ask for them, and that's a blessing. I think there
Wow.
is nothing wrong. But the minute I start thinking that my ideologies and my way of parenting
It should
should
be
be
there.
done by
Yeah,
you, then
yeah,
that's the problem.
yeah.
Because you can't bring them on your page. They are different generation, and why you want? I mean, they
True,
have some
true,
profound knowledge. Let them use it. You know your child is in a safe hand, and give them
truly.
that
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Instead of telling them point wise, timetable wise, keep you have to feed this at this time. No, let them. They know they're
Adhikar.
going to feed your child. They're going to make your child happy. They're going to have some wonderful conversations which you can never
Different.
have.
Yeah,
And
different ones from what
different
we
ones.
got.
And
Yeah,
let them be different. What we
it's
do
true,
here is
Prachi.
we expect that
I
our support system works the way we want them to work, but that's not how it should happen. And I'm sure
I
you will have a different take because you come from a
Yeah,
nuclear family. But I
completely.
think
Yeah, yeah. A nuclear setup. But Prachi, I really liked what you said because why I even asked that question was because in India, primarily, still we are, and especially in Ahmedabad, still we see joint family setups. And as you said, there is a lot of friction because as a mother, you're expecting the grandmother to be exactly like you, how you it's so difficult even making your husband understand that. Making the grandparents understand would be like crazy. So yeah, that's why so yeah, coming from a nuclear, my daughter is raised in a nuclear setup. So there are pros to it. The pros are that I dictate, I make the rules. Uh, if it's gentle parenting that has to be followed, I would ensure that my husband and I are on the same page, and it's just the two of us doing the bit. And
yeah.
of course the helpers are there to supervise my daughter because sometimes when I'm not around, but that's about it. there's no pressure on me also, like from the grand. I don't know if there is any pressure. I think the pressure from the grandparents comes on you when you leave your child on them with a list of rules that they have to follow, I guess. I don't
Dia,
know.
any
Yeah,
pressure, let me just intervene, sorry, but any
yeah, no, no,
pressure comes on you when you want to take
yeah,
that pressure.
yeah, true, true.
When,
And
when,
also,
why do we want to take that pressure? As I said, there can be some life-threatening decisions that you are
yes,
making about your child, and your grandparents, your in-laws or your parents should know about it. Sit and talk with them.
true,
And the
true.
common subject is your child, and your
And
child is
everybody is
loved
the,
by them,
yeah,
right? So I
exactly.
don't think there is going to be
Yeah,
any difference of opinion if we sit and talk. If I sit and talk and I tell my mother or my mother-in-law that just let me know if I cross my limits, which I have done in reality. I have told them, I have given them this right that if I'm crossing my line, which I
yeah,
may,
you
I'm a
tell me.
human.
Oh, of course.
Just
Yeah.
tell me, I give you that right. But we do not even give that right, but we have our
We
set of
have, yeah,
expectations from
expectations
them.
from
So
them. I
if you
agree.
tell me that okay, you should be good, or they just take my child and say, come, that doesn't mean
Yeah.
that they are making me feel wrong, but they
Yeah,
are
yeah,
taking
yeah,
care of the
truly.
child. And
Of
that's the
course.
ultimate goal, right?
Yeah, so I miss that, Prachi. I'll be very honest. And here on the public platform, I want to say, Nant, I think the con of not being around with elders in the houses, and at times I do falter. I make mistakes. And the sad part is that when I make that mistake, either it is always self-realization for me, okay? But I really feel more guilty because during that time, first, maybe nobody is there to stop me. And even if suppose nobody stops me, nobody is there to just take the child away from me for because I do miss that. Just take my child away, especially when I'm being this nasty mother, and I miss that. I want
I
somebody
give
कि
you, I give you a tip
आप
here.
लेके जाओ आप please उसके साथ आप उसको प्यार दो क्योंकि मैं अभी I'm not in my senses to give that love. You got me, Prachi? I mean, I'm not in my senses. I need time out for myself to understand what am I doing. तो आप जाओ मेरे बच्चे को प्यार दो. I miss that. I want my child to be loved by more people the way I do. I know similar नहीं होगा. इनफैक्ट ज्यादा ही होगा अगर ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स करते हैं तो दिस इज माई टेक being in a nuclear setup and doing playing the whole game all alone and at the same time trying to be very conscious about how I raise her. So sometimes I feel the pressure. I do.
I would like to give you a tip here, which is one of the
Yeah.
strategy that take your opponent in your team is what we call in corporate world. Here, it's not a game, it's not an opponent, but here the opponent, what I
Yeah, my
mean, I'm
child.
referring to is your child,
Hmm.
right? So give liberty to your child and educate your child. Once they start talking, they understand and they will respond very nicely. Let them know that this
I'm
is not your
understanding.
zone and
Yeah.
you are doing something wrong and you agree and you
Agree.
believe and you want your child to know. So tell your
True.
child that when mama or papa is reacting in a way you are not expecting them to react or which you know is not normal in the house, just say mama get well soon, papa get well soon.
I like that. Yeah.
And once the child is going to say that,
Uh,
there's going to
yeah.
be an immediate shift in you, and you're going to go and hug her or him. And that's all we want at that moment because
Truly,
these
truly,
moments comes
Prachi.
often. The new parents be aware. These moments comes often where we know we are going out of
Yeah,
control, but
yeah,
then it's
yeah,
okay as
yeah.
long as you are on track.
Truly. No, I love this idea. Really, I think that definitely whoever will watch this, who is watching right now, will watch it later. This is a very good tip. That it is, and this is how, because I think the practices that we follow are the same um, about being a gentle parent, about feeling guilty after doing something wrong. So, yeah, as you said, I just do it a bit differently, Prachi. I just, after it's over, I would go and apologize. And I will say, yeah, this was not, this is, Mama is genuinely upset about something else. So my daughter being so mature now, if I'm really angry at her and I'm like, she would come and tell me, something else is bothering you and you're taking out your anger on me. So she would now bluntly tell me that. I'm like, yes, I know. But somebody who tells you on the face, you're like, oh my God, like, yes, beta, yes, you're right. Go away for now because actually something is not right with mama. And give me some time. I'll be okay. So yeah, Prachi, I think these small things where you start admitting to yourself that even in spite of being an adult, you can make mistakes, and it's okay to say sorry. It's okay to apologize to that sometimes an year-old baby also, or a 5-year-old, 3-year-old. It's okay to. I have been saying sorry since beginning
Yeah.
to my 3 month old also, where so it is related to breastfeeding, but I have been saying sorry since then when I didn't even know if she understands. But having worked with babies for so long, Prachi, want to mention that babies understand everything. Their
Everything.
language, their language is more about energy and not really words, but they are human beings, and I think we have a different language at different stages of life. So it's just amazing to have addressed all these things with you, and I'm happy people have